attachment to any outcome is getting what I want. But attachment in general, assigning meaning to something that you don't have to assign meaning to. It could just be, it is what it is. And you could choose to look at it differently. And so, because Trish is asking, so we don't need to know why. And no, you don't need to know why, because it's an illusion of control. Knowing why is an illusion of control. It doesn't change the circumstance, knowing why. It just gives you something to play with to make you feel better about what's going on. It gives you a sense of control. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, that makes sense now. I feel better now. Right? It's the same thing with needing to be right. That's another thing that I don't worry about anymore. Okay, so let's say you're in some kind of conflict, whether it's a person, place, or thing, and you know you're right. I am so right about this. Okay, I've been in many, differences of opinion conversations with people where we have a difference of opinion, and I'm certain that I'm right. Okay, and who cares that you're right? It doesn't. The other person is not necessarily going to see your point of view, because they have their own set of experiences, their own set of 0 to 7 programming, right? Their own need for control. It doesn't matter if you're right. Oh, well. So when I just say, oh, isn't that interesting? Non-attachment, instead of assigning meaning, or I say to the other person, instead of digging my heels in and being right, I say, tell me more about that. Guess what happens when I'm in a conflict with somebody, or I'm in a difference of opinion conversation with somebody, and instead of digging my heels in, I say, tell me more about that. I want to understand, where you're coming from. Now that person gets out of their fear center, which is, driving the drive for control. They get out of their fear center. They go into their heart, because I'm asking them to show me how you feel. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm giving them permission to go into their heart, and I'm walking with them instead of walking, in conflict with them. I'm walking with them. Right. It's a whole different conversation. And all I had to do was give up control, right? And meet them where they're at. And then it's a whole different conversation. And it becomes a spiritual conversation. It becomes a loving conversation. And a lot more happens in that heart space than happens in the fear. Nothing happens when you're in that fear center. Nothing happens, right? Everybody's vying for control.
Yep.
Everyone wants to win. When you get into your heart and you want to really understand what's going on with that other person, it's a beautiful thing that happens. That's where God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, nature, that's where that energy enters in. And it brings the souls together, the higher selves together, to have a whole new experience.